those of you who don't know me, my name is Officer Nielsen. I'm a police officer with the Pocatello Police Department. And for the last 10 weeks, I've had the privilege of teaching your kids the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program, better known as D.A.R.E. Now, in that program, we teach them about the dangers of drug and alcohol and violence, and at the end, we challenge them to make a commitment to be drug-free. And every single one of these kids that you see here today made that commitment, so that's a big deal. To me, that's a very big deal. So we want to celebrate that fact today. We appreciate you coming and supporting that. Now, something you need to know about Officer Nielsen, whenever I come to a school, I like everybody to know that I'm here. It's just something silly that I do, so I ask the kids a little silly question to see if they can remember. Sometimes I even try to trick them, but I've never been able to. Let's see if they remember the answer. By the way, if you have a little one, you may want to plug their ears. It's about to get extremely loud. You've been warned. Hey, class, one last time. What day is it today? This school's going to miss me. It is D.A.R.E. Day, and this is our last event, so we're going to go out with some fun. Now we get our sillies out, we can get started. We have a tradition in our D.A.R.E. graduation of always letting our principals brag about how awesome their kids are. So I'm going to turn the time over to Principal Muckham. Let's give him a round of applause. Welcome.
Hi guys, congratulations. I am very happy to be here. I remember my 5th grade D.A.R.E. graduation. We had a lot of fun, but as a former 5th grade teacher, just a few years ago, I could say the D.A.R.E. program has gotten even better. We didn't have the drunk goggles, which I thought were pretty cool. When I was a teacher, I definitely put those on and found how hard it would be to drive with that impairment. But I'm very proud of you, and one of the things that I did want to say is that the things that you're learning in school, besides D.A.R.E., all of the other stuff, if you put it all together and you don't take the warnings and the knowledge that you have from D.A.R.E., it could all be for waste. You could be the brightest in all of the subjects, the most gifted athlete, but if you abuse drugs and alcohol, it's probably all going to come crumbling down. So in a small way, what you learned in D.A.R.E. may be the most important thing that you learned in your elementary years. I'll tell you a little story about myself. I played high school hockey, and we had a lot of good time, but a lot of the players on the team did drugs of different sorts, and there was a lot of pressure there. Now, some of the players on my team were way better than I was and had quite a future in hockey. And it was really sad to see a couple of those kids who had huge potentials. They had the body size, they had the skills, and to get there, to get to playing Division I or even in the pros. And I have one friend, his name was Tony, let's say. Big guy, amazing hockey player, and was making his way up the ranks after high school and blew it away with drugs and alcohol. I don't know what he does now, probably lives on his mom's couch. He's my age. Another one of those guys I remember who I was friends with, his name was Travis, and I remember when I was a senior, he was a freshman, and when freshmen made varsity, we shaved their heads. It was kind of a cool little thing that we did. So we buzzed his head, I remember putting my name in his head. And when you're a freshman, you make varsity, you think that's kind of cool. But anyway, he made his way up, playing in high school and then minor leagues and then into Division I. And then a couple years ago, I got to watch him score his first goal in the NHL, which was pretty cool. But I knew that he faced the same pressures that I did and that Tony did throughout high school and after high school to use drugs and abuse alcohol. And he chose not to do that. And he put his focus on the thing that he loved most, which is hockey. And he made it to that professional level. I want you guys to think about what your focus is and the thing that you want to be. And I want to let you know that abusing drugs and alcohol will prevent you from getting there. So we go through this education, but really it's about the choice that you have to make. So congratulations, 5th graders, for getting through this rigorous program. I know that not all 5th graders graduate the D.A.R.E. program, but I believe here
100%.
We have a 100% graduation rate. Yeah. there's things that the students have to do, and if they don't do them, unfortunately, they don't graduate. But here we're your leaders, and they did all of them. So I'm very proud of them. So give it up for the fifth graders.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muckerman. That kind of leads into what I'd like to do next. I'm going to do a little experiment. This could blow up in my face, I'm not sure, but parents, I'm going to have you help me out for a second. Thinking in your own lives, parents, can any of you think of a family member, a friend, a close one, someone that you know whose life was messed up because of drugs? Just raise your hand for me, please. Students, I want you to take a look at that. This is a problem that hits close to home. Parents, I have a challenge for you. We do a lot of challenge for our kids. I'd like to challenge you guys right now. They've been taught by the police department. They've been taught by the school that drugs are wrong. Today, after the D.A.R.E graduation, my challenge to you guys is please share those stories with your kids. Tell them where you stand as a parent on drugs and what your expectations are. We can throw all these role models at them, but their number one person they look up to is you. So I challenge you, please share those stories. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what these guys had to do in order to get here. This was not a gimme class. I come from the mode of thinking that if you want a message to stick, if you want a program to mean something, you make the child work to earn it. So in order for them to be here, let me tell you what they had to do. Number one, I told them from day one, as the fifth graders go, the rest of the school goes. I told them every fifth grader is a role model to every kindergartner through fourth grader. Whether you guys want it or not, kids look up to you. As you go, so they go. So I told them, absolutely no major school discipline or any police discipline whatsoever. There's to be role models both in and outside the class. Number two, show good attendance. 3, you had to complete all those assignments we gave you in the workbook. And at the very end, they had to complete that dreaded D.A.R.E report. That was their final task. Yeah, it was big and hairy. You guys probably remember the sheet that came home. And I thought it's pretty remarkable. This is one of a handful of schools that can say that all of them who started this journey completed it. Now, to kind of take the sting out of that final D.A.R.E essay, we decided to turn it into a competition. And we told the boys and girls that we'll have some judges judge each one of these reports, and we have medals that will be given to the person who wrote the best one. Now, as one who read through all the reports, I have to say I'm glad I didn't have to be the judge. There were many that I probably could have given awards to. But our judges do have 2, and we'll find out who they are right now. Mrs. Bullock's class, could we have Laurana Anderson come up, please? And again, congratulations to all of our boys and girls. These guys worked hard. Very, very good job. Let's give them a round of applause.
All right, you might have to lower that a little. I'm not quite as tall as everybody else. Laurana Anderson. Heather Bachman. Stevie Chapman.
Now stay, let's look around. We've jam-packed our gym. I know we've had a lot more that would like to come, but because of bad roads, they weren't able to, so we thank Channel 12 for airing this for us. I promise you, students, if you have a problem, if you don't know who to go to for help, if you're confused, it's the people in this room right here who are here for you. You have your parents, you have your police officers, you have your teachers, you have your principal. Know who to go to when you need help. Now, should we go to that final test? You're like, hold up your certificate, but Officer Nielsen, I already passed D.A.R.E. Not yet. I can take it away. Here's the thing. Just like this quiz and test that I popped in front of you, you don't know when it's going to pop up. This test isn't something you take with a piece of paper and pencil, but it could come later on today. It could come next week, maybe in middle school, but I promise it will happen to you. At some point in your life, you will have to deal with it. And failing this test will cost you everything. Some of you have figured it out. The final test of D.A.R.E doesn't come with a piece of paper and a pencil. You don't fill in any of the blanks. The final test of D.A.R.E comes when someone offers you that cigarette. When someone tries to get you to do those drugs. When someone tries to get you to do something that you know is wrong. It's at that moment that you can stand up for yourself, tell them no, and get out of the situation. That's when you pass D.A.R.E. And what do? You can be anything you want to be, whether it was something in the video or some other dream that you have. Again, I asked you to look at your parents. Notice how many of them raised their hands when they knew someone who ruined their lives because of drugs. We don't want you to fall into this trap. My final challenge to you is to live up to that commitment that you made to be drug-free. I'm extremely proud of you guys. Now before I close, there's two very special people we need to give a round of applause to. Without your teachers, none of this would be possible. Let's give your two teachers a round of applause. Thank you very much. It's no doubt that we always have 100% graduate from either house, because you guys have two of the very best teachers, and I thank both of you very much for this coming in. All right, students, stand up. You've been sitting down too long. Take a look at your parents. If your parents aren't here, look at the camera. Parents, again, thank you so very much for coming. This concludes our D.A.R.E. graduation. Let's give them one more round of applause.